Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca. Let's talk about makeup. So I am filming in my living room right now after everyone has gone to bed because finding a moment alone in a house full of 7 people on Christmas break is near impossible. So I wanted to take advantage of this rare confluence of silence and solitude and go over my bronzers and my blushes and my highlights with you. So I think this is number 5 in my makeup inventory series. Let's get straight to it, shall we? So the first thing we're going to go over is my bronzers. My bronzers, what have I got for bronzers? I am sitting at 6 bronzers right now. One of them I can't find. I actually haven't seen it since we moved, so I'm a little concerned that maybe it is no longer with me. But I am going to keep it on my list until I'm sure one way or another. The first bronzer on my list is a cream bronzer from Soul Body. This is ColourPop's body care line, I guess. This is a cream bronzer. Oh, I love how it smells. I've used a fair amount of this. This is in the color medium dark, which is probably a little bit on the dark side for me. I enjoy this bronzer. It's a really nice bronzer. It blends out really well. It's not my absolute favorite tone of bronzer. I like something with a little bit more of a pink undertone in it, something just a little bit cooler. Not gray, but a little rosier is my ideal bronzer. However, I really do enjoy the formula and the color is workable. Next, I have the Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer in the color Seychelles. Which looks like this. It is a little warmer than I like my bronzers to be, but I think it will be workable in the summertime. This is one of my newer bronzers. I haven't gotten a whole lot of use out of it, so when summer rolls around, I'm going to try to get some progress on this bronzer. The one that I am working on the most right now is this one. This is my Milani Stay Matte bronzing powder in Sunkissed 02. This is a lovely tone. It has that hint of coolness, not grayness, just a little bit of rosiness undertone that makes it really flattering on my particular skin tone. Obviously, I've used quite a bit of it. I've got a decent amount of pan in it. This is not terribly old. I've just used the heck out of it. I've pretty much used it almost every time I've done my makeup since, I want to say, last June. My biggest problem with this in particular is the packaging. As you can see, the hinge on the back is broken, and from past experience, the hinge being broken means this has not got a lot of time left in my collection before the whole thing just comes apart, and inevitably the powder itself is going to get damaged. It's going to shatter. I'm not going to have the patience to repress it. So I am trying to use this as quickly as I can so that I can get it out of my collection, get this damaged packaging out of my collection and not lose any of the product, because I really do enjoy it. My next bronzer, I think this is probably my newest bronzer. This is the Flower Beauty Luminous Bronzer in Heat Wave. I really like this. It has a bit of that rosy undertone that I really enjoy. Let me see. Why don't I swatch some of these for you, shall I? I didn't know we were doing swatches, but I think we are doing swatches. Why not? Let's live a little. So this is the Soul Body Cream Bronzer right there. Really enjoy the coconutty, summery fragrance on this one. I am someone that does kind of like fragrance in their makeup and skincare products. I know that's not for everyone, but it is for me. I don't have terribly sensitive skin, so I don't have to worry about, generally speaking, I don't have to worry about reacting to it. So here's Seychelles right next to that one. A little bit lighter. Doesn't look as warm as this one, but the last few times I tried it, it read very warm on my skin. All right, then I have, this is the Milani powder bronzer. I really do enjoy that one. It's the lightest of the three so far. But obviously with the cream bronzers, I would wear them significantly more blended out, whereas I'd probably build up the powder a bit. And here is the Flower Bronzer in Heat Wave. I don't know if you can tell that kind of neutral, slightly rosy hint to both of these, but in particular this one, really, really lovely. Then I have a little mini of the NARS Lagona bronzer, which is an oldie but a goodie. I'm trying to figure out where I'm swatching here. Let's see. That was a terrible swatch. Is this your first day swatching ever in your life? I think you can tell the difference in the rosiness between this one and that one there. This one also is luminous, while the others around it are matte. They're all matte. I have, ooh, I actually don't think this one is on my list. I think I have 7 bronzers, not 6 bronzers. Well, if I can find the Revolution bronzer, I will have 7 bronzers. If I can't, I'm still at 6. This is the Kiko Milano Flawless Fusion Bronzer Powder. My sister actually brought me this back from Italy, which was very sweet of her to think of me while she was there. And let's see. Can you see that? I do feel like when wearing this one, I do have to build it up a bit. But yeah, it's a nice bronzer. Very creamy, very blendable for a powder. It's a powder one, not a cream. So those are the 6 bronzers that I have in front of me right now. I'm hoping that I can find the Revolution one. I'm hoping it didn't get lost in the move, because of the cream bronzers I have, it is my favorite. And that is my bronzers. Let's look at contour now. All right, next up we have 5 contour products. In my numbers video, I numbered 6, but I have since used up one of the products. It honestly only had a few uses left, but that one is gone and it is in my empties, so I am down to 5 contour products. The first one is one of the more expensive items in my collection, not counting eyeshadow palettes. This is the Hollywood Contour Wand, Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand in Fair Medium. This is a very user-friendly contour product. If you are new to contour, if you were a little scared of it, if you are worried about looking overly sculpted or maybe a little dirty, this is a lovely, lovely product. It blends out more easily than any other contour product I've ever come across. It is not my favorite, however, because for me, when I'm using contour, I kind of want a little bit more of a sculpted look. And otherwise, why am I bothering with contour personally? But I find that I have to layer this one up in order to get that more sculpted look. And I don't want to have to do that. It blends very easily, but I think part of what makes it blend so easily is that it really shears out when you're blending it. If you are very fair and you are looking for a very subtle contour, one that is super, super easy to apply and to blend out, I don't think she'll do you dirty. She is, however, very expensive. The next one I have here is the Salt New York Sculpt and Bronze Cream Tint Pro in Taupe. This is a really, really lovely contour. If similarly to the Charlotte Tilbury, I think this one can be worn in a very, very subtle way. I don't know if I could build this to the point where it looked overdone, to be perfectly honest. And because it is one of Salt New York's cream products, it is also very traceless on the skin. If you want to contour and not look like you've contoured, this is the way to go. This is a really, really lovely product. This is my current favorite. This is the Natasha Denon, Anastasia Beverly Hills contour stick in the color Mink. So this is what that looks like. Should I be swatching? Maybe I should swatch. Here's an example. This is the Charlotte Tilbury. She blends out very, very nicely. Obviously, in order to get the most even application, I would recommend a brush or a sponge. A sponge is going to definitely give you a sheerer application. If you want to maintain pigment as much as possible, I would stipple with a brush. I do prefer to stipple just to keep the contour in the place that it's been applied. This is the Salt New York. Oh, I dug my nail into that. No good. This is Salt New York, which you can tell is quite a bit cooler than the Charlotte Tilbury, but also blends out just effortlessly. Really, really pretty contour product. I'm gonna layer that up again just so you have a good representation of the shade. And then here is Mink by ABH. This is a good bit darker and more on that cool tone side without looking dirty and gray, I have found. So I really like the ABH because I don't have to build this one up in order to get the look I'm looking for. However, I do have to be careful to blend it out sufficiently because that will create some tiger stripes for sure if you're not careful. This is the Revolution Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer in the color Deep Caramel. Got a little poof on the top. It's one of the earlier drugstore poof dupes. I know we've seen a lot of those in the last year. Revolution got there pretty quick. They're known for duping a lot of people. And I don't mind when they're duping really large makeup creators that are, you know, owned by Estee Lauder and Shiseido. I'm not as cool about it when they are duping small creators. So you can tell that this one's a good bit warmer than these two. It's probably on par with the Charlotte Tilbury, but nowhere near as blendable. This is another one that I kind of feel like you have to be careful with your blending and make sure it doesn't set too quickly. It is not, as far as user friendliness, it is not my most user-friendly contour. Last is a recent acquisition. This cost me about $5 at TJ Maxx. This is Sephora's Colorful Contour Powder. I don't know that they make this anymore. Generally speaking, when something shows up in Sephora, there's a good chance that it's been discontinued. This is definitely my coolest and grayest contour and my only contour powder. You see that? That is very gray. I do have to be very careful with this one to make sure I don't end up looking dirty. And it is definitely not something that's gonna double up as a bronzer for sure. This is absolutely a contour. So it does blend very nicely. It's a nice powder, but because of how cool it is, I do have to be careful with the application of that one. So that is contour. So we've done brush, we've done bronzer, we've done contour. Let's do highlight before we move on to blush. So for my highlights, I have 8 highlights, which is a little surprising for me because I'm not a huge highlight. I don't think often to apply highlight. When I've done my entire face, I don't often think, oh, I've got to put some highlight on. That said, I do have some really pretty highlights. My first one that I'm going to share with you is an oldie but a goodie. This is a pretty classic highlight. This is Lori Geller's Gilded Honey. This is a really, really smooth, very, very shiny, foiled gold highlight. She is so smooth. She really is. And despite how impactful that is, I really do think this highlight can be buffed out to be very know if I would call it skin-like, but she buffs out really, really nicely. Oh, I can still see some stripes from the contour. Let's see if I can get that off. It's a really, really pretty highlight. I think it is well known for a reason, for sure. My other highlight, my only other powder highlight, is actually very similar to Gilded Honey, and that is Nabla's Skin Glazing Glow Powder in Amnesia. So actually, I want to swatch. Let me give you a good, not blended out swatch of that Gilded Honey. So there's Gilded Honey. And then this is Nabla's Amnesia. A little bit lighter and just slightly less warm here. Both of these, very, very smooth, not sparkly at all, no sparkle whatsoever, very, very smooth. I feel like the Nabla highlighter is just a slight bit smoother than this one, and I feel like just the slightly cooler tone of this melds with my skin just a little bit better. These are both beautiful highlights. I don't wear them enough. Obviously, I've worn the Nabla one enough to start wearing away that emblem there on the front, but I really should make more use of these because they really are very pretty, and I don't dislike the look of highlight on my face. I just hardly ever think to put it on. So I need to pull these out and set them front and center on my vanity so that I will remember to use them. Those are my only two powder highlights. The rest of them are liquid and cream highlights. I'm gonna start with the cream, and that is another lovely product from Salt New York. This is their Cream Tint Pro in beige. Now this highlight, because it's a cream, well, not all creams are this way. I mean, obviously you can get a glittery cream, but this one really does fall in line with all of Salt New York's products as being very, very elegant and can be worn very subtly. Really, really sophisticated formulation on the skin. Doesn't last the longest that I found, as most of their cream products on my skin in particular. More so in the summertime when I'm a little bit more oily than in the winter. Like right about now would be the perfect time for me to use this. Let's see. Let's put some on. Why not? Look how pretty that is. That is so nice. Put some up here. Maybe above the brow. This was not intended to be a tutorial or anything like that. I hate the idea of putting my makeup on camera. I don't know why. I don't know why. It just seems weird to me. Not when other people do it. Obviously, I enjoy watching beauty content where other people put their makeup on. I don't know. It feels strange to me to put, I don't even like to put my makeup on when my husband is watching, to be honest. It just feels odd. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. And there's no sparkle. There's no discernible sparkle. It's just glow. Beautiful highlighter. Beautiful. Gosh, I need to use that more. All right. The next two products are very different, but I'm going to use them in the same way. Okay. So first we have the Cover FX. This is the Custom Enhancer Drops in Rose Gold. This is a very metallic product and one that I'm going to primarily use up by wearing it on my body during the summer. I don't love the thought of putting something this liquidy on my face over a base product. Especially also, it's incredibly metallic and it's got a good amount of base color as well. Look at that. That's something else. But like applied on the collarbones. Here I am applying this makeup in front of you. Here, I don't like applying makeup in front of people, but here I go. See that sheen? That is just so pretty. I could see myself wearing so far this is how I've used it, is I've used it on my body, but I can see myself wearing the heck out of this on my legs, on my arms, décolleté, primarily during the summer, since most of those things are all covered up during the winter. The second product that I'm going to use in a similar way, this is the Milani Soft Focus Glow. This is a kind of a Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter type of thing. I always try to twist this off, but it has a pump. This is very thick. I mean, very, very thick. The thickness of it, and also I think the peachiness of it, is what puts me off wearing it on the skin. Just look how gloopy that is. Do you see that? I don't want to put that on my skin. Underneath foundation, I kind of feel like that would add I've tried it on my skin under my foundation. I just don't like how heavy it sits. And I'm going to swatch it here next to this one. However, I think that it will be a nice one to wear on the body during the summertime. And so that's how I intend to get my use out of it. On the body also, I feel like the peachiness of it is not going to be as noticeable, where I do feel like it kind of changes the color of my face when I put it on my face in a way that I don't love. So there we go. So that's the Gilded Honey, Nabla, Salt New York. That's the custom Cover FX custom enhancer drops, and that's the Milani Glow, whatever, Soft Focus Glow. There we go. Next, I have a little tiny mini that I have had forever. This is NARS's Orgasm Illuminator. NARS is so obnoxious, but this is a really, really pretty kind of gel-based highlighter. I don't even want to swatch it for you because I have so little left. I don't know why it's taken me so long to, I do know why it's taken me so long. It's because I like it. And when I like something and I start to run out, there's a subconscious part of me that just panics a little bit. This is one of the more subtle ones. I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to see it. There's a little, there we go. There's a little bit of base color, but it is very, very sheer, a very sheer gel formula. It is really pretty. Every time I've used this, I've really enjoyed it. At some point, I saw that it was almost gone. I panicked and I stopped using it, which is foolish, and I need to finish this up. Okay, my last three highlighters are along the same lines. The first one is this mini Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, the classic. This is in the shade 3 Fair. Let's see if I can swatch this one next to the Milani. There we go. I like this. If I was more into highlighter, I probably would have gotten a little bit more use out of it. I think this is the lightest one of all the ones I have here. I should note, this is not all of my highlighters. This is all of the single highlighters I have. I have a pretty sizable face palette collection, and I have quite a few highlighters contained in those face palettes. But these are my single highlighters. It's pretty. It's actually surprisingly bright next to the other ones, but it's a very, very nice highlight. I don't really love mixing it in with my foundation, especially with being a mini. I find that a little laborious. I don't know. I do like it on its own or with just a little bit of concealer, but for that particular purpose, I like these better. These are my e.l.f. Liquid Glow, Halo Glow Liquid Filters. This is more of a summer shade for me, more of a winter shade. Sometimes I can combine the two. I just find these so pretty and flattering on the skin. I feel like they have a little bit of coverage. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury has a teeny bit of coverage as well. But I feel like the e.l.f. Halo Glow has a little bit more. Not a ton. I'm not looking to cover things up, but I feel like it's just a hint more perfecting. And it kind of, while it doesn't obscure my flaws, I feel like it just sort of casts them in their very best light. I really enjoy this product, and my favorite way to wear it is all by itself or as a thin layer over the face with just a little bit of spot concealing. I just really enjoy that particular method. If I am wearing something that is a little bit more on the matte side, I can also mix this in to give it a little bit of luminosity, and that works really well also. Really like this product here. And I would 100% repurchase these over the Charlotte Tilbury any day of the week. Since we're having a swatch party, let me just swatch these for you. So this one is the lighter of the two. Oops, that was awkward. Okay, there we go. That is the shade 3, light medium. Charlotte Tilbury is right here. So that's the e.l.f. And then I have shade 5, medium tan. Which is right, you see that? Oh, no, because I swatched it all the way on the back of my arm. There we go. So there's the light medium and there's the medium tan right there. Mixing those together for me right now is the best solution, but I will be able to wear more of this on its own when I'm a little more tan. So there are all of my highlights. They're looking very similar, very, very similar. These are all really pretty highlights. I don't dislike any of them. Even the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, I have no objections to that one. I wouldn't repurchase it primarily because I like the e.l.f. Halo Glow better, and the e.l.f. is so much cheaper, but I am not unhappy with the Charlotte Tilbury at all. All of these highlighters are beautiful, and I honestly, just swatching them out and admiring them, I really want to make more of a priority of getting more use out of my highlights this year. So that is it. That is my bronzers. We went over my contour, my highlight. I hope that was useful to you in some way, that was at least entertaining. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye.